Yes, sir. What's the word, bro? How you living?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I'm glad to be here, man.
Man, that's what's up. I'm glad to have you, man.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
For sure, man. So, for everybody who might not know who you are, can you kind of give them like an introduction to who you are and what you do?
It's your boy BH, man. You know, celebrity bodyguard, rapper, entrepreneur. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of celebrity stars. I'm the person they call when they get
Let me ask you a question. Have you ever noticed how in this industry, people untimely meet their demise soon as somebody else seems like they're having a problem?
Announced that they have a video of Diddy on camera, a male worker. You see what I'm saying? So like, if they making these type of announcements, bro, if they had anything on Meek Mill, bro, like that's everywhere.
And I think his insight into Diddy and some of the things he says are going to be eye-opening, and I believe he's very credible. That's my personal opinion and perspective after speaking to him. So you take what you take out of it, but it's a very, very good interview. Listen closely to what he has to say. Listen how he analyzes some things. He talks about things, you know, stuff that was put into drinks.
You won't believe the tea that just got spilled, because one of Diddy's ex-bodyguards, big homie CC, has finally broken his silence. And the stories he's telling, they're nothing short of shocking. From secretive late-night parties to whispers about who might have walked away with more than just a hangover, CC claims he saw it all and up close. This isn't just some random outsider talking. This was the man who stood right next to Diddy when the lights went out and the real show began. If half of what he says is true, it paints a whole new picture of what really went down behind those closed doors. And trust me, you'll want to hear every detail, because this could be one of the biggest exposes yet. So grab your popcorn, because we're just getting started.
Safe.
Jay-Z.
Icon.
Beyonce.
Mother.
Suge Knight.
Mr. Fumbled the Bag.
Kim Kardashian.
Groomed.
Her mother.
Groomer.
Bieber.
Used.
But you were involved somewhat with Diddy because you were a bodyguard to somebody that went to some of his parties, correct?
Yes, sir. That's exactly how it happened.
And were you at a lot of these freak-offs, I guess we got to call them?
So here's the thing. I only been to 3 of his events. Now, when the first part of the event is a normal social, this guy revealed what he's into.
When you say Leonardo DiCaprio, he's got a lawsuit against BuzzFeed because of something that they said with him regarding Diddy?
Yeah, so the guy Busby referenced that he has stills of a like
Not face matter nothing. All that gang don't matter. Your little sister out here getting did crazy. No, bro. That's why I was always kind of, my family used to get mad at me because how I used to treat people. Because I knew the truth, bro. Like, there's something about these guys.
I'm going to say a name.
Okay.
You can just have a facial reaction. Tupac.
Victim.
Diddy.
Purveyor of things explicit.
Do you think he was groomed?
Dapper Dan said he grew up with Puffy's family, and he said it did not start with him. This guy, I seen him, Diddy, and F. Gary Gray in Vegas together.
So who exactly is Big Homie CC, and why are his words shaking things up right now? For years, CC wasn't just another guy on the sidelines, he was right there in the mix, as part of Diddy's personal security team. We're talking about the kind of role that doesn't just watch the door, but stands in the room when the biggest stars are laughing, drinking, and letting their guard down. Being a bodyguard to a music mogul like Diddy isn't just about muscles. It's about trust. You see the good, the bad, and everything in between. And sometimes you're the only one close enough to catch the moments the public never gets to see.
Suge Knight, was that your only time seeing or
Only time ever seeing was that day. Only time ever seeing her. Only time ever seeing. You know, I'm a Chicago boy, you feel me? So I really only go to the West Coast to work. So I'm saying, so you hear a lot of things about Suge, but I never got to experience anything like that with him. Like it was a brief encounter with him, and he had went to.
CC earned that position because he had loyalty and presence, the kind of guy people didn't question when he stood by the boss's side. That meant he was in the middle of countless exclusive nights, VIP after parties, and private get-togethers where the guest list alone could fill an arena. For years, he kept his mouth shut, as most bodyguards do. But now he's talking, and he's not holding back. The timing couldn't be more explosive either, with all eyes already on Diddy's name in the headlines. CC's stories aren't just gossip, they're the kind of first-hand claims that make you sit up and wonder what else has been kept in the shadows all this time.
I distinctly remember going to a Diddy party, all the waitresses topless. They serving you, everybody topless, you feel me? Like, he got dancers in cages, people walking around with lions on leash, tigers on leashes. I seen this with my own two eyes, see what I'm saying? And it was getting so weird in the party. I'm like,
now let's talk about the heart of all these revelations. The infamous parties. According to Big Homie.cc, stepping into one of Diddy's private gatherings was like crossing into a completely different universe. From the outside, they look like any other glamorous mansion party, with flashy cars pulling up and celebrity guests strutting through velvet ropes. But the moment you were inside, the rules changed. The lights, the music, the secrecy, it all built this atmosphere that made people feel untouchable, like nothing they did within those walls would ever see the light of day.
He was booked to host an event in Chicago at a nightclub called The Vibe on 1534 North Kingsbury. I was head of security at this venue. And whenever celebrities would come through, the owner and the general manager, shout out PJ Khan and shout out Joey Vartanian, they would send me with celebrities after the club. So I ended up at one of his events, and a gentleman I used to work for, his name was David Arrington. He used to not work for, work with. He was security like me, big, strong, intimidating dude. Come to find out, you know, he was double dipping. You feel me? He was getting hired.
The first thing CC stressed was how tightly controlled the entry was. We're not talking about a basic guest list. These were hand-picked names, people who had clout, fame, or some kind of connection that Diddy valued. And before anyone could even step past the front door, security would confiscate phones. No selfies, no sneaky videos, no receipts. Everyone had to check their devices at the door. Some even signed NDAs, little contracts that basically said, whatever happens here, stays here. It wasn't Vegas, it was deeper than that. This was about protecting reputations and making sure the night stayed in the hands of those present.
I think his insight into Diddy and some of the things he says are going to be eye-opening, and I believe he's very credible. That's my personal opinion and perspective after speaking to him. So you take what you take out of it, but it's a very, very good interview. Listen closely to what he has to say. Listen how he analyzes some things. He talks about things, you know, stuff that was put into drinks. He just talks about a lot. I don't want to give it away. I want you to hear it from him. So without any further delay, here's my guest. A pleasure to have a sit down with him, Big Homie.cc. I don't know if you know, recently I had Suge on the phone, and yes. And he, he talked a lot about Diddy, what he knew, and some of it was controversial, some of it, but hey, you know what? When I sit down with somebody, they say what they say, and I respect that, and we take it from there. But you were involved somewhat with Diddy because you were a bodyguard to somebody that went to some of his parties, correct?
Yes, sir. That's exactly how it happened.
And were you at a lot of these freak-offs, I guess we got to call them?
So here's the thing. I only been to 3 of his events. Now, when the first part of the event is a normal socializing mixer, upscale, the who's who is there, it's normal. But when you see the guy come out with the black suit and he's collecting everyone's cell phone and then inviting them to another party, which I say it's layers to it. They're inviting you to another part of the party where everybody cannot go.
Mm.
You see, so then that's when discrepancies start to take place because, you know, my business is predicated on protecting women mostly because, you know how dudes are with a lot of money, man. You know, like they can straddle the fence. So once ladies in the industry know, like, oh, you know, he's got integrity, he can't be bald, stuff like that.
Once inside, though, CC described the vibe as surreal. The living rooms transformed into nightclubs, the basements became lounges, and every corner had its own scene going on. One group might be chilling, with expensive bottles and card games, while another had DJs blasting unreleased tracks only the elite would ever hear.
Everybody
Celebrities
would be at his parties.
Everybody. And like the first part of the party is normal.
It's like going down on Woodville. It's normal. But the second part, when they come out collecting the cell phones, and one of the security guys sign right here, that's when things start to get crazy because he'll be in a different part of the building after a while. But it's a lot of stars who you wouldn't suspect sitting on his lap.
How did you meet Diddy? How does a man like you get to work for a man like him?
I would be bodyguarding somebody else and end up at some of his parties. I've been around him a couple of times. Don't like the guy. The man is a liar. He's a deviant. And he plays with dark magic. The rumors are true, I'm gonna tell you that much.
The Hollywood rumors are true.
A lot of things in Hollywood are ritualistic for sure.
Celebrities from different industries mingled like it was the most normal thing in the world. Actors, athletes, musicians, and influencers all crossing paths in ways the public could only dream of.
Pierce, let me ask you a question. Have you ever noticed how in this industry, people untimely meet their demise soon as somebody else seems like they're having a problem?
Well, there was, of course, the case of one of his other ex-girlfriends, Kim Porter, who pneumonia at a very young.
But the surface level fun was only part of it. CC hinted at darker moments, things that would shock outsiders, but seemed almost casual inside. People letting loose in ways they'd never dare if cameras were around, lines blurred, limits pushed. And all of it wrapped in the energy of excess. He described seeing people who were household names doing things that could flip their careers upside down if the truth ever came out. And the craziest part? Nobody blinked. Nobody judged. Everyone acted like this was just the culture of the night. According to CC, Diddy himself had this magnetic presence that set the tone. If he was laughing and partying hard, the crowd followed. If he brought in certain guests or shifted the energy, everyone moved with it. It was like he orchestrated the chaos, making sure things stayed wild enough to keep people hooked, but hidden enough to protect the brand. That balance of freedom and secrecy kept guests coming back. For many, it wasn't just about the party. It was about being seen in Diddy's world, knowing you were part of something most fans would never even imagine. Still,
and when I got to the event, he was there.
As a bodyguard or?
No, he was there as a performer. Right. So that gentleman's incarcerated right now. He ended up killing his boyfriend, stealing his car, all type of stuff. So he crashed out. So that's how I ended up even knowing about this type of stuff. So, and when I got to the party, you know, all the waitresses was topless. They had like.
You're the second person to say that.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, everybody, the waitresses was topless. Like they had like.
Still, CC said the wildness went beyond harmless fun. He claimed he saw situations where people woke up the next morning confused, where others whispered about catching something they didn't sign up for. And while no one dared speak out at the time, the tension was always there under the laughter and music. Behind the glitz and glamour, these parties carried a weight, and CC suggests that's where the real danger always lived. Hidden, unspoken, but undeniable to those who were there. According to CC, the part of the story that haunts him the most wasn't just the music, the lights, or even the secrets whispered in dark corners. It was what he saw happening to people after the fun was over. From his perspective as a bodyguard, his job was to stand, watch, keep people safe, and make sure nothing got out of hand. But the longer he worked for Diddy, the more he says he noticed a troubling pattern.
Big homie.cc addresses the rumors about Diddy.
You know, I never worked for the guy Diddy, man. Like, you know, in the paperwork it say I'm pulling guns on him, and you know, I've been known to do certain stuff like that. You feel me? I've been pulling guns on guys doing weird stuff. You know what I'm saying? You feel me?
Yeah. In your line of duty, yeah.
Yeah, but like, I was not over there with them. Like, I don't know why she would say that. I don't know why she would put me over there. Like, and that's my thing. Like, I don't know who's behind it, but somebody is doing something to try to make me, I don't know. I just know I've been making a lot of people upset who deserve to get made upset.
Correct.
You know, it say I protected the plaintiff and I quit Sean Combs about him finally having sex with a woman. So I'm in there teasing him because he normally has dudes. I'm not even finna hang out with no guy like that. You feel me? It's not no money you can pay me for me to kick it with him.
CeCe claimed that those legendary parties weren't just about champagne and late-night vibes. They carried risks people didn't even realize they were stepping into. He remembers moments where guests would stumble out at dawn, looking dazed, confused, sometimes even sick. At first, he chalked it up to too much drinking or not enough sleep. But as time went on, he said the whispers started. People talking quietly about infections, about catching something they didn't come in with. Through his eyes, it wasn't just gossip. It was a dangerous reality. CeCe recalls one night when a well-known figure left in a panic, calling their doctor the next morning, worried about what they might have been exposed to. Another time, CeCe said, he overheard frantic conversations between two guests who swore they had contracted something serious after one of those wild nights. To him, these weren't just isolated stories. They started adding up, forming a pattern he couldn't ignore.
Come out and say that we lying. Can't do that. It'll never happen.
Yeah, I hear you.
It won't happen.
So, bodyguarding all these people.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Going around meeting all these different people, you know what I'm saying, ended up in some Diddy parties. You know, is there any other celebrities or any, you know, famous people that you might have seen wearing dresses or, you know, doing anything that you can talk about?
The only guy I've seen in a dress personally is Dwight Howard. You know what I'm saying? I seen him in a dress.
And the craziest part, according to CeCe, nobody on the inside seemed surprised. He claimed the inner circle knew this was happening but brushed it off, treating it like part of the lifestyle. That's just how it goes, was the unspoken rule. If someone got infected, if someone walked away with a problem that they didn't have before, they were expected to handle it quietly. No lawsuits, no public statements, just silence. The machine kept rolling and the parties never stopped. CeCe admitted that this silence weighed heavy on him. As security, he wasn't just protecting the man who signed his checks. He was also watching over every guest that stepped through those doors. And yet, he says he felt powerless to step in. The culture of secrecy was too strong, and his loyalty was demanded above all else. Still, from where he stood, it looked less like harmless fun and more like reckless behavior with real consequences.
Homegirls that's 40, 41, no family structure, no man. Yeah. And they sad. They got tricked. They convince you of an image because I used to say, like, look, they have rainbow men telling girls how to date and stuff like that. How can a man tell a woman anything about her body or any of that? Probably shouldn't.
He described one particular incident that stuck with him. A celebrity who had been to multiple parties pulled him aside one evening, almost pleading, asking if he had heard anything about certain people being sick. CeCe remembered the look in their eyes. Fear, confusion, regret. He couldn't give them an answer, but it shook him to realize just how deep the uncertainty ran. To him, that moment made it clear. These weren't just rumors. Real people were getting hurt.
What do they do? You know, every time I see here in Kenya, some of the celebrities dress up in these female outfits. You go to the comment section and people are saying, man, this is a humiliation ritual.
That's a real thing.
Is that true?
That's a real thing. That is true. That is something that takes place for sure. Mm-hmm. You know, I try to tell people in the United Arab Emirates, they have a law against using witchcraft and the dark arts to gain. And it comes like a $50,000 fine, time in jail. These laws don't exist for no reason. So a lot of things in Hollywood are ritualistic for sure.
And while the headlines on the outside were all about Diddy's music, his wealth, his power, CeCe says the whispers inside those walls told another story entirely. Word spread quietly from guest to guest, industry to industry, about the risks of being too close, about the invisible dangers that might come with the glitz. Yet the machine of celebrity culture made it nearly impossible for anyone to come forward. To do so would mean risking everything: career, reputation, and the wrath of a very powerful man.
You know, Ray J.
This guy, I seen him, Diddy, and F. Gary Gray in Vegas together on some very strange timing, I should say. And
What do you mean?
That guy is privy to a lot of things that take place at those events because he was there for a lot of them.
Really?
Absolutely.
You saw him?
I've seen Ray J.
Man. For CeCe, speaking now is his way of pulling back the curtain. He insists that what he saw wasn't just bad choices, it was a pattern of reckless behavior that put lives at risk, all hidden behind locked doors and loud music. And while he admits he kept quiet for too long, he also says he couldn't live with himself if he stayed silent forever. From his eyes, this wasn't just about wild nights. It was about the aftermath nobody wanted to talk about. And if what he's saying is true, the danger wasn't just in the party itself, but in the cover-up that followed. For Big Homie CC, his connection to Diddy was never just a paycheck. It was personal. When he first joined the team, he felt honored. Protecting one of the most powerful men in music meant stability, status, and access to a world most people only see on TV. CeCe says he looked at Diddy like a boss, but also like a figure he was supposed to stand behind no matter what. And for a long time, that loyalty kept him quiet.
What people are into.
Yeah.
This guy revealed what he's into.
When you say Leonardo DiCaprio, he's got a lawsuit against BuzzFeed because of something that they said with him regarding Diddy?
Yeah, so the guy Busby referenced that he had stills of a encounter between Combs and an A-list celebrity with a much higher status than Combs. So it's... Yeah.
I got you. Let me ask you this. Heard something about Jamie Foxx possibly being involved with Diddy and on the wrong.
As a bodyguard, CeCe's role went beyond shielding Diddy from threats outside. Over time, he realized part of his job was also to protect what happened inside, covering up the messes, steering away unwanted attention, and making sure no one broke the code of silence. At first, he didn't question it. To him, that was just part of the responsibility. But as the years went by and the stories piled up, the weight of what he was protecting began to eat away at him.
Hip-hop culture is the biggest culture in the world, first and foremost. But there are tiers to hip-hop. Now, Diddy was able to work his way up into the private sector where you're rubbing shoulders with other CEOs, other business owners, other heads of media. So the situation is, you're not going to see Moneybagg Yo at a political fundraiser. You'll see Diddy there.
CeCe admitted there were nights he went home conflicted. On one hand, he owed his career to Diddy. Being in that circle gave him credibility and a steady living. On the other hand, he couldn't ignore what he saw happening to the people who trusted that space. The laughter, the champagne didn't erase the moments of regret he witnessed. The quiet tears he noticed when the music stopped. That inner conflict eventually grew into regret. He began to ask himself, was loyalty worth more than conscience? Was protecting Diddy's empire more important than protecting the truth? For years he stayed silent out of fear. Fear of losing his livelihood, fear of retaliation, fear of stepping out against a giant. But with time and distance, he decided that silence made him just as guilty.
And sold.
So it's kind of hard to fake CCTV footage, simply because it's time stamped and the pixels in that camera, any AI footage, the pixels is way higher than a normal camera.
For sure.
So, you got to take that into consideration.
I think I'm gonna Google everyone who has a $200 million yacht. And we're gonna line this. We're gonna get close.
It's hundreds of guys who got.
Okay.
Bro,
Yeah. Okay. Rook, didn't you say you wanted a yacht?
Now, by speaking out, CeCe says he isn't trying to destroy anyone. He's trying to unburden himself. He wants the world to know what he saw, to finally put words to the secrets he's carried for too long. In his eyes, telling the truth is the only way to make peace with the loyalty that once held him captive. From CeCe's perspective, the aftermath of those nights was almost as telling as the parties themselves. He says the whispers didn't stop once the music mellows down. They only got louder, spreading across industries and circles like wildfire. And some of the names that floated in those conversations, they weren't small. CeCe recalls hearing rumors tied to megastars like Jay-Z and Beyonce, faces so polished in the public eye that the thought of them even brushing shoulders with Diddy after hours chaos left people buzzing.
Then there was real. What's conspiracy? Who are the good guys? Who should we still listen to in music?
I don't really know many good guys. And in this space, the good guys have to remain in the shadows because they're outnumbered. A lot of strange things going on, you feel me?
I'm going to say a name.
Okay.
You can just have a facial reaction. Tupac.
Victim.
Diddy.
Purveyor of things explicit.
Do you think he was groomed?
Dapper Dan said he grew up with Puffy's family, and he said it did not start with him.
Snoop.
Safe.
Jay-Z.
Icon.
Beyonce.
Mother.
Suge Knight.
Mr. Fumbled the Bag.
Kim Kardashian.
Groomed.
Her mother.
Groomer.
Bieber.
Used.
How bad?
He cried in the interview.
Oprah.
Mogul.
What percentage is bad?
97%.
Then there was Cassie, who, according to cc, was always a sensitive point in Diddy's world. He hinted that whenever she was around, the energy shifted. Some saw her as protected, others as caught in a complicated space. Her name came up often in quiet conversations, sometimes with sympathy, sometimes with shock, but always with the feeling that more was happening behind closed doors than the public could imagine. cc also remembered moments with actors like Cuba Gooding Jr., who brought their own brand of intensity into the mix, sometimes leaving other guests unsettled. He described scenes where Cuba's energy dominated a room, adding to the unpredictability that made these nights feel like anything could happen. But it wasn't just Hollywood or music. cc even recalled figures from faith and fashion appearing in the rumors. Names like Bishop T.D. Jakes and Naomi Campbell circled through the whispers. Two people from completely different worlds, yet somehow mentioned in connection with the same wild events. And then there were industry staples like Stevie J, a longtime collaborator whose presence seemed less like a guest and more like an extension of Diddy's world. According to cc, what shocked him wasn't just who showed up, it was how terrified some of them were afterward. He said he noticed a kind of quiet panic that would settle in once the adrenaline wore off. Guests would ask discreet questions, make hushed phone calls, or disappear for weeks, trying to avoid attention. To cc, it was clear that reputations were on the line, and everyone knew one wrong leak could end careers.
It's just like, once a rich guy realizes that, wait a second, no one's going to tell me no. Depending on how you're raised and your moral compass and what you believe in, I've seen a lot of guys get off the handle, and I've seen Combs scream, say, I'm a savage. If I want it, I'm going to have it. I don't accept no for an answer. That let me know what I need to know because, I've done security for certain guys and, you show up to their house unannounced and he's in a mascot outfit in the floor with somebody else in a big teddy bear outfit and they dry hump in the floor. They call themselves furries. Mm. You'll see a millionaire guy, he gets off by having a furry costume.
Other ex-staff, cc claimed, also carried pieces of the puzzle. While they rarely spoke outright, their hints lined up with what he saw. Jokes that weren't funny, silences that spoke volumes, and glances that told him he wasn't the only one feeling uneasy. For cc, this swirl of whispers only confirmed the truth. What happened at those parties didn't stay contained. It followed people into their careers, their relationships, their public lives. And though no one dared shout it from the rooftops, everyone who had been close enough to see even a glimpse knew the risks. To him, the silence of celebrities was proof of just how real and how dangerous the fallout really was.
Yeah. Right after that, some more stuff had happened. And
was that a shot in the face or what's that?
No, kind of ambushed me. And I ended up getting stabbed. And I didn't know I was stabbed though. But I got in my car and I cut the heat on. I'm like, man, I don't normally. I'm like, man, I'm getting cold. I don't normally get cold.
Listening to Big Homie cc, it's hard not to feel a chill. Even if a fraction of what he's saying is true, it raises huge questions about power, secrecy, and how far people will go to protect their image. The fact that names like Beyonce, Jay-Z, Cassie, Naomi Campbell, and more are even whispered in these stories shows how deep this really runs. At the end of the day, it's a reminder that the glitz and glam of fame often comes with shadows the public never sees. So what do you think? Is cc finally pulling back the curtain on truths we were never meant to hear? Or is this just another chapter in the long saga of celebrity rumors? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because this conversation is only just beginning. And hey, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, because there's a lot more tea to spill and you won't want to miss what's coming next.